Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me and see me. We are back with our this time weekly live ACSS broadcasts on LinkedIn. We used to do this in 2022, I believe, to keep you updated on the Russia sanctions every week. And now we just thought we'd bring him back and give you regular updates on everything that is happening related to sanctions and export controls. So my name is Alexander Witt, and I'm a Sanctions and Export Controls consultant with ACSS, the Association of Certified Sanctions Specialists. If you haven't heard of us, please visit our website, sanctionsassociation.org, and follow us on LinkedIn for the latest updates. So I looked into the latest developments that we've seen last week. My colleague and director of ACSS, Saskia, discussed a couple of issues related to Russia last Monday. So this time I wanted to focus on a couple of new updates that I've seen that came in since last Monday. Just to give you a brief overview, what I will discuss today. Treasury OFAC sanctioned the Russian Wagner Group as a transnational crime organization. OFAC also sanctioned Paraguay's former president and current vice president for corruption. FinCEN issued an alert on potential U.S. commercial real estate investments, sanctions evasion by sanctioned Russian elites, oligarchs, and their proxies. A former FBI official was arrested for violating sanctions related to the Russian oligarch Deripaska. And a new U.S. South African task force will be focusing more on combating the financing of wildlife trafficking. So I will discuss these five updates with you today, all came in last week. Let's start with the first update that I picked up last week. On Monday, January 23rd, federal prosecutors announced the arrest of former FBI Special Agent Charles F. McGonigal and former Soviet and Russian diplomat Sergei Shestakov on criminal charges related to sanctions violations and money laundering. According to court documents, the defendants allegedly conspired to violate the International Emergency Economics Power Act, IEPA, by investigating a rival Russian oligarch for Oleg Deripaska, a Russian aluminium tycoon, designated by OFAC in 2018. Prosecutors also claim Deripaska paid McGonigal through an intermediary for his efforts to remove him from OFAC's specially designated nationals and blocked persons list. Then on Wednesday, January 25th, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, issued an alert to all financial institutions regarding potential investments in the US commercial real estate sector by sanctioned Russian elites, oligarchs, and their family members, and the entities through which they act, collectively sanctioned Russian elites and their proxies. In March 2022, FinCEN already issued an alert on the risk of sanctions evasion by sanctioned Russian elites and their proxies involving high-value assets, including both residential and commercial real estate. This alert that we have seen last week specifically highlights sanctions evasion-related vulnerabilities in the commercial real estate sector and is based on a review of Bank Secrecy Act, BSA, reporting, indicating that sanctioned Russian elites and their proxies may exploit the US commercial real estate sector to evade sanctions. Also on Wednesday, last week, the January 25th, Treasury announced a commitment between the US Department of the Treasury and South Africa's National Treasury to form a United States-South Africa task force on combating the financing of wildlife trafficking. The task force will prioritize the sharing of financial red flags and indicators related to wildlife trafficking cases, especially those involving the US and South Africa financial systems. Related to that, last October, OFAC designated Malaysian national Teo Boon Ching, the Teo Boon Ching Wildlife Trafficking Transnational Criminal Organization, TCO, and the Malaysian company Sunrise Greenland for the cruel trafficking of endangered and threatened wildlife and the products of brutal poaching. So we might see new designations coming in this direction. On Thursday, January 26th, OFAC sanctioned individuals and entities linked to Russia's paramilitary Wagner Group and its head, Yevgeny Prigozhin, including its key infrastructure and associated front companies, its battlefield operations in Ukraine, producers of Russia's weapons, and those administering Russia-occupied areas of Ukraine. This is actually not the first designation of the Wagner Group itself. In 2017, OFAC designated the Wagner Group for being responsible for the destabilization of Ukraine. And in November 2022, the State Department designated the Wagner Group for operating in the defense and related material sector of the Russian Federation economy. The Wagner Group has also been sanctioned by Australia, Canada, Japan, the UK, and the EU. And last but not least, on Thursday, January 26th, OFAC designated the former president of Paraguay and the current vice president for their involvement in the rampant corruption in Paraguay, as well as 4 entities owned or controlled by the former president. Notably, 2 of the designated entities are located in the United States. Therefore, OFAC also issued 2 general licenses, General License 5 and General License 6 under the Global Magnitsky Program, to authorize certain activities related to winding down or divestment from these designated entities owned by the former Paraguayan president. Related to that, also a former president sanctioned, but this time by the State Department, last Wednesday on January the 25th, the State Department designated former president of Panama, Ricardo Alberto Martinelli Berrocal, for his involvement in significant corruption. And also another interesting item I picked up at the beginning of January, where Canada on January 10th imposed sanctions on 4 top Sri Lankan officials, including former presidents Mahinda and Rajapaksa, over gross and systematic violations of human rights during the armed conflict in Sri Lanka between 1983 and 2009. So we have seen a lot of very high ranked officials being sanctioned by the Treasury Department and the State Department. Lastly, by the way, this was a summary of the updates that I wanted to share with you from last week. And also wanted to take a brief moment to tell you a bit about ACSS upcoming events. If you haven't checked our website yet, we have 2 webinars coming up in February, one in about 2 weeks, Understanding OFAC's 50% Rule and Beneficial Ownership, which is a free webinar. So also, if you are not an ACSS member yet, please feel free to register for that webinar together with KPMG. And then 10 days later, we will do a webinar with LexisNexis entitled Taking the Pulse of Major Sanctions Lists on February 24th. So please visit our website. Both webinars are for free. So also as a non-ACSS member, you can join them. Also, a huge conference coming up in Europe in May. On May 11th and May 12th, ACSS is hosting a European conference on global sanctions and export controls in Amsterdam. So please visit our website and come and visit us in Amsterdam and be part of this European conference. Also, if you want to know more about OFAC sanctions, UK sanctions, or EU sanctions, we have a lot of certificate courses at ACSS, of which a couple of courses are starting soon. Actually, the UK sanctions online certificate course starts in 2 days on February the 1st. And then we have an OFAC Essentials online certificate course starting in March. And also our OFAC Masterclass starting at the end of March. For those of you who are interested in EU sanctions and want to learn more about EU sanctions, we have a course starting in May. So please visit our website for our upcoming certificate courses if you want to become certified in these subject areas. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope I didn't speak too fast. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I see there's a question right now. December EU Expert Forum indicated that cloud-based services may be in scope of future Russia sanctions packages. Would be interested if anyone has any recent. Okay, thank you for your comment, Mark. Mark is asking if there will be any cloud-based service-related restrictions maybe coming as within the next package of EU sanctions. I believe the EU is working on a 10th package of sanctions. which might be published soon. Thank you, Mark, for your comment, and please use the ACSS LinkedIn page to keep the discussion alive. If you have any questions, and connect with each other, for those of you who are all taking part in today's broadcast. I hope you benefited from this quick update on everything that we picked up from last week. Let us know in the comments if we missed any important update. And I see another comment coming in from Crystal. Thank you, Crystal. Crystal will be publishing a book on sanctions. Who at ACSS? Thank you, Crystal. You can reach out to me through LinkedIn, and I can connect you to the right people on at ACSS for collaborations and support you with your book. Very excited to hear more about your book that you're going to publish. Again, thanks everyone for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. We will do one of those broadcasts every Monday from now on at 9 a.m. New York time, which is, I believe, 3 p.m. Amsterdam time. So please join us also next week for a new broadcast. Please visit our website for our upcoming webinars and certificate courses. And yeah, thank you for joining us today. Have a good day.